So I'm going to share with you the smartest pathway to get to $10,000 a month in terms of income. But I'm guessing most of you are probably looking to me for some kind of pill or tactic or cheat code or some kind of checklist or just some way that's going to enable you to magically stumble across getting 10K per month. However, the one place which you're looking shouldn't be out there, it should be in here. Because in here and in here are quite often the reasons why people don't achieve their financial goals, especially in their business, because they're too busy trying to find and manipulate all of the things which are happening out there in their external environment, rather than focusing on the things which are challenging them intellectually and stopping them from achieving their goals. I remember doing a talk in front of about 150 people, and one of the things which I said in the middle of that talk was small business owners need to fear the things in business ever so slightly less that are stopping them from achieving their goals. And it was at that point that my good friend Adam stood up in front of all of these people and he pointed at me and he said, "Robin Waite, the fearless business coach." And that was back in 2017, and when the concept around where fearless business came from. And I noticed there was this trend in business owners where they thought that they could control their external environment and circumstances that they'd found themselves in, rather than focusing on what was going on in their mind that was stopping them from achieving their goals. These things that we fear about around things like increasing our prices or getting out from behind computer screens and going out and meeting people in real life, maybe standing up and doing a 60-second pitch in front of a room full of strangers, or heaven forbid going and knocking on a few doors and asking whether somebody might be interested in our product or service. So instead what they do is they typically tend to hide away behind their PC or laptop monitor, building the perfect website and the perfect brand, perfecting their course or coaching material or their lead magnet or writing a book or something like that. And the thing which they're avoiding is getting out there and doing marketing and sales. And by the way, folks, I should always add that it's in that order. It is marketing and then sales. Most people call it sales and marketing. But you got to market yourself first in order to be able to start the conversations that then you can potentially have the sales conversation with somebody. So it's massively important that you push yourself outside your comfort zone and do the things which you've been putting off that you know you need to do. And in actual fact, I had a client recently who had been going really successfully for several years, and they'd reached a point where their business had plateaued, and even still then it was on a decline as well, and they were really struggling mentally to know what to do with this. They came to me because they wanted some kind of advice or tactic or trick or skill or just something that they could do in order to start off more conversations and start bringing more people in and hopefully sell some clients. And I asked one simple question. I said to them, listen, when you first started out, what is it that you did that brought new business in? And they listed off some things which they used to do in terms of going to local networking meetings, meeting people in real life. Imagine that, heaven forbid. But also going into local Facebook groups and communities of like-minded individuals where they knew that their message had resonated with people. Now, as it happened over the previous 5 years, as their business had escalated and grown, they'd managed to find more passive ways of marketing and didn't need to do those two activities anymore. But for some reason, things changed. And so they had to go back to first principles around what had made their business work in the first place. And I could see in their face, their kind of shoulders, I could see they were sagging and they felt really heavy. They let out this big sigh and they're like, oh my God, really? Do I have to do that? And I was like, yeah, this stuff should not be beneath you as a business owner. Sometimes you've got to get in the trenches again, get your hands dirty and start all over again. It's just part of the process. It can't always be this steady upward trajectory of growth that most people assume is what's going to happen within their business. So in order to get to consistent 10K months, you've got to be really dedicated and try and, push yourself through these times when things get a little bit hard. Is it any wonder that things like podcasts, the average number of episodes each podcast has is 7 episodes? And there are people like John Lee Dumas on Entrepreneurs on Fire who've got several thousand episodes, dragging that average up massively. So it only goes to show that something as simple as podcasting or doing YouTube videos, for many people, they do a few of them, they don't get any results in the short term, and they just give up, thinking that they should magically just release a handful of episodes and all of a sudden people are going to flock from the hills. And you have to understand that business is very different in 2025. 20 years ago, there was only a 1/12 of the number of businesses registered globally in pretty much every country. But now, since the internet has grown and we've developed this global marketplace, not only are there 12 times the number of people competing for the same business in your local area, in your country, but also there's this global marketplace. There are thousands of people that you're competing against for the same piece of business. So yeah, life has got a little bit harder. It's no longer easy to market your wares, but if you're consistent with it and you don't give up, there's some tenacity there, you can easily, regularly start to get to 10K months without too much effort. And I would even argue, I've said this in previous videos, that 20K per month is actually the new 10K per month. $10,000 a month, especially in Western civilization, doesn't seem to go that far these days. And I know, look, I'm a white, middle class, privileged, guy living in the UK. So who am I to make assumptions like that? But whatever number you thought you needed to earn, you probably need to double it in order to have a really nice lifestyle in this day and age. The number one thing which prevents business owners from achieving their goals generally is their mental health. One of the most stressful things that I've discovered in life is running a business. And actually, any person in their right mind, if they knew what I know about running a business, probably wouldn't do it. But hey, look, this is why I'm partnering up with Uncle Matt's Hats, because I want to raise awareness around mental health for business owners especially. 1 in 4 people this year are going to have some kind of a mental health crisis. And in this week alone, 84 people will have committed suicide down to mental health issues which they're experiencing. And I think there needs to be more organizations doing things like what Uncle Matt's Hats are doing in terms of giving back to support the various mental health charities and organizations that are out there. There are 15,000 of them alone in the UK. And what Uncle Matt's Hats are doing is for every garment which they sell, they give 10% of the profits to Hub of Hope, which is a directory of those 15,000 organizations. I hope that you'll be able to support a friend in need, whether that be directly, your friends out there, your colleagues who are running businesses. Sit down and have a coffee with them and ask them how they are. If you can't do that, please go and grab one of these hats, because every penny of that profit which is going towards those charities is a penny well spent, in my opinion. One of the things which I would recommend you do is set yourself some achievable goals. There's some really simple maths which you can do in your business in order to figure out how to get to $10,000 a month. So it goes without saying that a lot of people, especially when they're starting out, most people turn to doing some kind of a service in order to earn their money rather than selling a product. The challenge with the service though is that it's attached to your time. You only have a certain amount of hours in the day to be able to deliver this service, as well as doing marketing, sales and admin and all the other functions that you need to do in your business. And the challenge with that is that immediately for many people, mindset wise, you're capping your achievable income based on the fact that your wealth is directly attached to the amount of time you're able to put into your business. So you need to detach from this concept around time equals money and selling time for money. You need to create products and services which are infinitely scalable. There's lots of ways to do this, from delivering online courses, group coaching programs. You can monetize things like YouTube channels, or maybe there are physical products that you could get out there and launch and sell. However, you've got to come up with something which you can sell in multiple units without it necessarily having a direct correlation or impingement on the amount of time it takes you to deliver that product or service. So then you can start to look at what I call millionaire maths. So what millionaire maths looks like is, well, if we want to make $1 million, we can sell $1 widgets and we've got to sell 1 million of them. But if we increase the price of that widget to $10 and we can add extra value into it and make it more shiny, then we've only now got to find 100,000 clients for that. If we add another multiple of 10 to that, so we sell this widget for $100, now all of a sudden we only need 10,000 clients for it. And so the maths go on. And is there one product or service that you could sell that would ultimately be worth $1 million? Now, for many people, that's going to be rare. But let's take that 10K, that $10,000 a month, which you want to earn, and let's start to do some basic maths on it. Imagine if you could come up with a product or service that was $1,000. Well, now you only need 10 clients per month to buy that $1,000 widget. Or if you could come up with something that was $5,000, maybe a coaching program or something like that, then perhaps you only need to sell 2 of those per month. 2 clients a month is far more achievable than hundreds, if not thousands of clients. And so what we've got here is the 2 main levers between supply and demand. Do you have the capacity to deliver 20 of those units to your potential clients? Can you stimulate enough demand in the marketing world for those 20 units as well? And getting the balance right is very difficult. So you can see how price has a massive impact on all of these different variables within your business. But you need to create a very basic business plan around how it is that you're going to achieve your financial goal, and make sure that you have just run the numbers and that you can deliver as many units as you're able to sell. initially. The next thing I've alluded to is consistency and determination. You don't just get to $10,000 and then you're set with that and that's the way it works. It's probably going to take you several months to get up to $10,000 a month. And even then you might hit 10K per month and then fall back down to 6K per month or 3K per month or whatever it might be. So the first goal is, can you stay in the game for long enough to have your first 10K month? And through doing that, through achieving your first 10K month, you will learn everything that you need to know about doing 10K months on repeat, then month after month after month. But like I said, you might hit 10K per month on month 4. You might then dip back down to 3K, 5K, 7K, 5K, and then hit your second 10K month. And it's at that point you can start to pay attention to what is it that you did that helped you to achieve each of those 10K months. See what it is that you've learned. What did you have to do consistently in order to create enough demand, stimulate enough demand for people to buy those products that amounted to 10K in those 2 months. And then from those learnings, you can then start to build it up. But ultimately, you need to bankroll yourself back yourself to a point whereby you're going to stay in this game no matter what. There is no plan B. There is no, we're essentially going to burn our ships so that we are going to make this a success no matter what. And I think for me, that's probably what's helped me through running businesses over the last 20 years is just sheer stubbornness and pig-headedness that I'm going to succeed somehow no matter what, and I'll figure it out. And even when the chips have been down, I've still found a way to get through it and make it work out. Yeah, it's been stressful. Yes, my back's been against the wall, a number of times, but ultimately I've been able to stick at the game and then end up with not just achieving 10K months, but 20K months, 30K months. I've even had a 40K month as well. I'd like a few more of those, but hey, it's just one of those parts of the process of just sticking around for long enough to start to make those months happen for yourself. The final thing which I will say is please get off of social media. I think too many people are scrolling on, Instagram and TikTok and things like that on their phone, and they're seeing all these wonderful good luck stories of these people purporting to be able to, buy Lamborghinis and take private jets everywhere and things like that. I've got no problem with that, by the way. If you make loads of money and that's what you want to spend it on, great, go and knock yourself out, have fun. It's not how I would choose to necessarily spend my money. However, it does present this really wonderful looking life when we're scrolling through other people's Instagrams and TikToks and stuff like that. It's rare that people share the rubbish, the crap that we have to go through as well as business owners on there. I'm really pleased when people do as well, but there's always this fine line of it, between, hey, I'm trying to inspire you to keep going, I'm having a tough time, versus actually I'm having a bit of a pity party. I've struggled with that, which is why I don't tend to put those sorts of posts out necessarily. I have got them. There's a video on my YouTube channel actually where I talk about a real mental struggle which I had around writing content and marketing myself. I just completely lost my mojo when I shared it in a YouTube video, so we'll try and link to that. Another thing around this is not just getting off social, but stop hiding behind screens. It's really easy again to run an online business and then just, everything happens in the online space. Ultimately, what I've discovered is that business happens in real time and in real life. Getting out and meeting people is one of the things which has probably been one of my strongest assets over the years, and not stopping doing that despite everything shifting into the online space. I've got clients in 26 countries. Most of my client fulfillment, the coaching work I do, is online, delivered via Zoom. But I do, whenever I can, try and meet up with all of those people and clients in person. And especially when it comes to marketing, it's massively important to get yourself along to events, to build partnerships with people. And the only real way to do that is to shake their hand, look into the whites of their eyes, take a selfie with them, but then they will remember you because you've had that really personal interaction. And not least because it's good for your mental health. You don't want to be in a position whereby you're just sat behind a screen all day long, because you will just find that it is draining. I've got a good friend of mine, one of the coaches on my team, who uses this amazing word called procrastinate work. And when you're procrastinate working, it's when you basically just are staring at your screen but not actually doing anything productive. And the best possible thing you can do at that point is just get up, go and take your dog for a walk, or just get out into the countryside, get some fresh air, maybe meet some people. I find that when I take time away from my desk, when I'm not focused too heavily on work and I'm doing fun stuff for me, I take every single Friday off where I can. I'll go and get my hair cut, or I'll go and have a massage somewhere, or I'll just go and sit and chill in a coffee shop for, have a cup of coffee and a bit of cake or something like that. I've always found that that's where my most creative ideas come from. And it's those types of creative ideas which then contribute towards you getting your first 10K months and beyond, growing and scaling your business from there. So just to summarize, I thoroughly recommend just make sure that you do a bit of planning, make sure those things that you are fearing around doing, you're actually stepping outside your comfort zone and doing. So fear the things in business ever so slightly less that are stopping you from achieving those goals. Make sure that you give up social and get out and about and meet people. Stop hiding behind your computer screen and hoping that that's going to be the thing which is going to launch your business and have those 10k months. And then finally, just make sure that you've got some consistency and determination behind you, because like if you're not prepared to knuckle down and do the work for the next 3 to 5 years, well, quite frankly, you might as well not bother getting started. Like, business is not about quick wins and making a quick buck. It's not even really about the 10k months. Business is about staying in business for as long as you possibly can do. Like Simon Sinek talks about the infinite goal. So if you're not willing to stay in the game for like 3 to 5 years, I probably wouldn't bother getting started, because I have a feeling you're going to be massively disappointed, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the state of it. Listen, if you're interested to know a little bit more about Fearless Business, I've got a gift for you. You can see it over my shoulder there, slightly blurry, but it's a free signed copy of my book, Take Your Shot. Just as a thank you for watching to the end of this video. You can get that by heading over to fearless.biz/TYS, and you'll be able to get a free copy of that book. And do reach out if you've got any questions. If you've been inspired by this video, just reach out to me, drop me a message. I'll always respond to those messages. It's one of the greatest joys about doing YouTube videos is hearing back from the people who engage with my content, and let me know what you want to hear more about.